going on, everyone? My name is Matt, and today I thought I'd bring it all the way back and film another Things We All Do episode. This is part 3, so if you haven't seen parts 1 and 2, then I'll try and remember to put the links in the description, so go and check them out. The first one is a collaboration with another YouTuber who did 5 of the things, but today we're going to do another 10 things, so get ready to relate. I really wish I had a cool theme tune to put in there, but I don't, so this should do. The first one I have done at school so many times and it gets really awkward. So basically you're sat down and you're staring blankly into space. Then after your staring has ended and you come to your senses, you realise that you were staring directly at someone that whole time. Okay, the amount of times I've done this is actually kind of worrying, but it always seemed to be that one Indian kid at my school that I always used to stare at. So Shalom, if you're watching this, I'm sorry that I always used to stare at you. I did not mean to. It was an accident. Another thing we all do is we see our friends tagged in a picture on Facebook and then we can't help but click the next arrow once, which then leads to a spiral of you clicking the next arrow until you reach 2009. And then it gets awkward and you see photos like this. Look at me. Another thing that I'm sure we've all done, at least us socially awkward bunches, you'll be standing in a group of people who'll be having a conversation that you're not really involved in. It then gets really awkward because obviously you're not saying anything. It's almost like you're just listening in on someone else's conversation that you shouldn't be a part of. So then you spend the rest of the conversation trying to think of where you can input something. Perhaps they're talking about a film that you haven't seen and you just really want to say something so you don't feel weird about staying with them. The next thing in a similar situation, you could actually be trying to say something in a group of people, but there's that one douchebag who will always talk over you, and they keep doing it. You'll say the start of the sentence about 4 times, and if there's at least one good human in that group, they will look at you to let you know that at least they are listening, because if you feel like no one's listening, that just destroys your soul. A bit far, but it does hurt. That brings me on to the next thing. I don't know if everyone does that, but if I see someone else getting interrupted in a group of people or something like that, then I will look at them and try and listen to their story intently so they don't feel like they're being left out. Because I'm just a nice guy like that. Another awkward thing that we all do is we eavesdrop on other people's conversations. Not too bad at this point. But then you'll hear something they say or a joke they make and laugh at it, and then they all stare at you and it becomes awkward. Maybe I should rename this series 10 awkward things we all do. That might make a lot more sense. On the topic of laughing, one thing that I'm sure a lot of us do is that we laugh at the most inappropriate times. I kid you not, I do this so often, and the people I do it with most are teachers and Jasmine's dad. Less so now, but when I was a bit nervous about meeting Jasmine's dad at the beginning of our relationship, because, you know, he's a dad and they're kind of scary to us guys, there would be some things that he'd say that I wouldn't know how to respond, and then I'd awkwardly laugh, and the conversation would just kind of die. And I'd feel like the worst boyfriend in the world because I'm just an embarrassment. But with teachers, I've been told off before and I can't help but laugh. Whether that's because it's an awkward situation or my friend is next to me making me laugh, I just can't help it, and that does get awkward. Another thing that a lot of us have done, especially if you have leather furniture, is when you sit down and a suspicious noise comes from beneath you. It sounds just like a fart. You know it's not a fart. Then there's that one kid next to you, which is usually me, that also knows it isn't a fart, but tries to make it look like you farted. And in a desperate attempt to assure everyone that you haven't farted, you try your hardest to make that noise again, and nothing. Literally nothing then. That's how I got labelled as the kid that farted all the time, so then I just started farting for real, because if people were going to label me as that, I might as well fart for real and let it out. Like that time I farted during our warm-up in gymnastics in year 8 PE. Yeah, I think I was stretching a little bit too much. Another thing that all of us teenagers do is when we show someone something on our phone, we grip it really tightly just to make sure they don't do anything wrong. Like scroll right and see that ugly selfie you took the other day and forgot to delete. Or accidentally see your awkward conversations with your mum. Or anything like that. But let's be real, what could someone honestly do even if they tried to take your phone before you got it back? Probably not much. Like, I kid you not, once in business studies, my teacher asked to borrow my phone to use the calculator on it for something he was doing. He was helping me, it wasn't just out of the blue like that. And I so reluctantly gave him my phone because I didn't want it to be suspicious, but while he was on my calculator, my heart was literally in my mouth. Like, he could have accidentally clicked the home button and seen an embarrassing screensaver or texts or something like that, and that would have been so embarrassing. Fortunately though, nothing happened, so I escaped free. Another thing that we've all done is accidentally liking someone's old Instagram picture or Facebook post. And you don't know whether to unlike it or not because they now know that you've liked it, they know you've done a little bit of stalking, and you just don't really know what to do with yourself. Although, have you ever noticed in moments like that it never actually amounts to anything? Like, a lot of things in our life, when you think about it, that we think could be really, really bad are never that bad at all. In fact, nothing usually happens. But that does it for part 3 of Things We All Do, also known as TWAD. Let me know in the comments if you want to see a part 4, and I will definitely make it in the future, and leave a like on this video if you did enjoy it. But that's it from me now, so thank you once again everybody for watching, and I will see you all in a couple of days. Bye guys!